Deborah. I'm coming to you from Canberra, Australia, and this is a channel I started to help me with my unfinished projects problem. This is Editing Deb, just popping in to say this is the second video for the Steampunk Outfit. The second video is focusing on the skirt, and I've just got them labelled on YouTube as Steampunk Outfit Skirt 1 and Steampunk Outfit Skirt 2. I've done 3 pleats. I've decided I am not going to do 7 or 8 meters worth of pleats. I'm going to gather this, possibly in bunches. I have an idea, and I'm going to reverse all of this pressing and do something else. Having decided that I am not going to pleat meters and meters and meters of this frill, what I decided to do was gather it, and I was having second thoughts about that as well, because there are meters and meters and meters. That's like, it's all rolled up, it's meters of it. Then I remembered that my overlocker does a gathering stitch. So these are my instructions from years, many years ago, possibly 30 years ago, when we bought the machine, and I have managed to achieve quite a neat gathering stitch. That's on a double thickness of the fabric, so I'm shorter than the person that the pattern is made for, and I think I've just bought some rather specky boots to go with this, and I think this skirt would be better just a little bit short so that you can actually see the boots. So this is the width of the frill. I'm going to fold it in half and gather this, and that will just be a little frill on the bottom, and when I gather up the skirt in one particular area, the frill will kind of frame that opening. So what I'm going to do right now is go to all the seams with wrong sides together, just fold it with wrong sides together, fold it, and I'm going to do gathering stitch all the way around. It probably would be a really nice thing to... No, I'm not going to fiddle with it. I'm just going to do it. I'll just see what happens. Okay, here we go. No, what I am going to do is pin it at every seam so that I can at least be sure it's staying fairly straight. When I actually came to put the gathered frill on the skirt, because I'd had a couple of problems with thread breaking, some of it didn't really gather very closely, and so I had a lot of the frill left over. So I'm going to actually put it on a couple of inches, about 5 centimeters above the other one. So I'll show you that. So this is the frill. It's just a little bit gathered, and I'm just straightening up this line as much as I can, and using a quilting ruler to just draw a chalk line 2 inches above where the other frill is joined, and it will have a double frill. And I will get some, I saw some braid that would be a really good decoration on this, And so I will go and buy that probably tomorrow and put that around this, put that at the top of this gather, the second gather, so that what I will probably do is just so straight around, I'll line up the top of the frill that has been overlocked with this line, and I'll just sew straight around, and then I will use the braid to cover up that the overlocked seam and the sewn seam, and that will avoid a lot of extra bulk, but it will also just be a nice feature. I think I need to get some black and some gold onto here to go with my boots, and so the braid that I found should do that. This bit of the frill seems to have better gathering than the other bit. I don't know why. It just does. And for some reason the overlocker was flattening it a bit. So I'm just going to very gently stitch this around on that line and get it nice and straight. And that will be the hem and the bottom part of the skirt finished. Gathering on this bit is much better. I don't know what went wrong with the other one. Anyway, so this is on top. This is the bit that we will see. Having said that, I'm coming up to a flattish bit here, but anyway, we persist. I ordered some gears and a brooch from Etsy. Turns out it's coming from China, so I'm hoping it gets here in time. I do have some other ideas of how to get the effect, but it would be nice just to be able to scatter some gears around, I think. Make it blazingly obvious what I was trying to achieve. Right, back to the steampunk skirt. This is the 2 layers of ruffle at the bottom. I've just sewn this to the outside, so that's the layer, that's the gathering stitch from the overlocker. So I'm going to cover that with this braid. So that braid actually introduces some black and gold, which is the color of the boots I'm going to wear with this. So one, it was a shortcut that made my life much easier, but it's also an opportunity to introduce something so that the boots I've just bought are going to go with it. So I'm going to do this with a twin needle. I'm just going to put a twin needle on, and I have to have 2 reels of whatever color I'm having on the top, so that they can go through both the needles. And I will just lay this on top like this and stitch it carefully on, and that will conceal that join and introduce the right colors. So yep, and I have some satiny lining fabric and some black tulle. So this is my black tulle, and I'm just going to make a petticoat that will just hold it out a little bit. This skirt is on a yoke. This is the top of the skirt. It is gathered onto a yoke, and then the waistband goes on top of that. So I'm going to make a yoke out of the satiny fabric. This will go on as the skirt, and then I will, when I attach the waistband, I will attach that petticoat. I will line that yoke up with the yoke in this fabric and sew them both into the waistband. This is the theory. I can't see a problem with it yet. I haven't tried to do it yet, but I think that should work. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. Okay, I'm hoping you can see I have one thread on a special holder that's up there, and the other one is on the normal holder. It comes down. There are two different sides on this tensioning thingy, so one thread goes through the left side, one goes to the right side, and we put the thread into the corresponding needle eye. And let's have a look here. I can't get it much closer because there's so much fabric in the way, but I've just got the twin needles. I've got a wide foot to fit the two twin needles through, and I'm just laying the braid right on top of the stitching line of the where the overlocker stitches are, and just slowly going along and stitching that on, just guiding it through very carefully. And it's not the whole width of the braid. The needles are not at the whole width of the braid, but they are wide enough apart to be holding it just right over that seam. And I'm just going to do this all the way around. Okay, now we're up to joining the yoke to the skirt. Okay, so this is the back of the yoke. This is the back of the skirt. And this is the next seam, side seam. This is a side seam. I've made the seams on the yoke about 1 centimetre smaller, so that I'm just giving myself a little bit extra in the yoke in case I've had a lot of bread before I wear it. Okay, so that's the yoke. All of this has to fit onto there, so I will set about gathering that and pinning it together. I did the gathering stitches in grey, a light grey, so they're easy to find, and you just pull this along and keep doing that until they fit together. Okay, I haven't got the waistband on the skirt yet because I'm trying to decide whether to put a tulle petticoat in. So despite me making it quite a bit shorter by not putting the full lot of pleats in, it comes right down to the ground. I will probably do some sort of a gather so that we will see my boots, which are beautiful, and go with the braid. If you can see that braid, it's black with a kind of a goldy colour in it, and that's what the boots are like. I'm reasonably happy with the frill. I put a double frill. The bottom part of the frill isn't very frilly, but the top part is gathered. I will have a think about whether to do the extra petticoat.